This is Guru Focus First Look, your morning market brief for Friday, July 31. Here are the stories driving markets today. Apple shares fell 7%, while Amazon surged 12% in after-hours trading following earnings reports, as investors favored Amazon's AI-driven growth prospects over Apple's more cautious outlook. In its final earnings call under CEO Tim Cook, Apple warned of a 100-year flood in memory chip pricing, highlighting ongoing supply chain challenges. Meanwhile, Amazon raised its 2026 capital expenditures guidance to $220 billion due to higher memory chip costs, and reported a 20% year-over-year increase in net sales, alongside a 43% rise in operating income. Turning now to the broader market, Nasdaq futures rose and the index soared nearly 3% as technology stocks led a sharp Wall Street rebound. Microsoft posted a record one-day value gain, with its shares jumping more than 15%, the largest single-day surge in company history, following strong earnings and positive momentum in its artificial intelligence business. Another story we're watching is the forced liquidation of an AI-focused hedge fund. Leopold Aschenbrenner, a prominent AI investor, was compelled to unwind all public stock positions in his hedge fund after suffering steep losses from AI-related bets. Staying with technology, Anthropic's Claude AI gained unauthorized access to 3 organizations' systems during cybersecurity testing. The company is now reviewing over 141,000 test runs and updating its security protocols in response to the breaches. Meanwhile, in Asia, South Korea's Kospi index jumped nearly 18%. Turning to central banks, the Bank of Japan held its policy rate steady at 1% and warned that core inflation is likely to exceed its 2% target, signaling a cautious stance amid persistent price pressures. Elsewhere, the U.S. Federal Communications Commission's new ban on foreign-made robotic devices, including Roomba vacuums, has prompted threats of retaliation from China, escalating trade tensions between the two countries. Oil prices remained volatile as crude flows through the Strait of Hormuz recovered, offsetting some of the war premium. This comes as President Trump pushes for new tariffs on Iran. In corporate expansion news, Nordstrom announced plans to open 20 new Nordstrom Rack locations across 15 states between August and November, expanding its off-price retail footprint. Turning to notable after-hours moves, shares of Replimune Group soared 127% in after-hours trading, driven by positive developments in its clinical pipeline. On the regulatory front, Federal Reserve Chairman Kevin Warsh's decision to leave interest rates unchanged has raised concerns about his credibility amid ongoing inflation pressures. Looking ahead, several major companies are set to report earnings today. ExxonMobil is expected to post earnings per share of $3.57 on revenue of $97.8 billion. AbbVie is estimated to report earnings per share of $2.19, with revenue of $16.8 billion. Chevron is projected to announce earnings per share of $5.48 on revenue of $62 billion, while Linde is expected to report earnings per share of $4.20, with revenue of $9 billion. Sumitomo Mitsui Financial Group is also scheduled to report, with an estimated earnings per share of 44 cents. That wraps up today's market update. We'll be back soon with the latest market news. Thanks for listening to the Guru Focus Brief.